Hi, everyone. Welcome to DNP 720, your clinical course, and Happy New Year. I'm going to take myself off the screen so we can concentrate on this Zoom meeting to help you navigate yourself through this course of study. And I'm just going to start with the syllabus. As you can see, it's worth 2 credit hours, and you will do 120 clinical hours. Here's the course description and the objectives. And then let's just move down to the syllabus. So in the syllabus, you're going to see, and I'll clarify this for you when we go into the course of study, that you're still going to do 10 clinical notes that are uploaded into Canvas. And as clinical instructors, we have tried to make this the same across all of the terms and through all of the courses. So hopefully this will help you as you enter next term as well. There are going to be 8 focused, or also called episodic, clinical notes. And then there are going to be 2 comprehensive clinical notes. One of those will be a comprehensive note, and the other one will be a well child comprehensive note. Now, if you're not in a clinical setting where you'll be doing well childs, then the instructions will tell you that you can create a well child visit and make that your well child comprehensive note. You're going to do your hours every single week, and you're going to respond to your faculty 10 times. So 10 clinical notes, 2 of those being comprehensive, and 10 responses to your clinical faculty. And then the rest of it is pretty much the same, your verification of hours. The other part that will happen in clinical will be discussions, and there will be 12 discussions. So that actually right there should say 1 through week 12. Originally, I was going to start the discussions in week 2 and decided to start them in week 1 so that you could introduce yourselves. So there will be 12 clinical discussions. You will post your initial work by Thursday midnight. These are all Mountain Standard Times. And then you will have 2 responses to peers by that following Sunday. So the first one will be due this Thursday, and then this discussion only, and again, it says it in the discussions, there will be no responses to your peers. It's just purely information. Now, if you happen to pick up the syllabus when it first came out on December 18th, it is the same, except for that some things were added that we were advised to give as far as department policies after that date. So they have now been added to the syllabus. And one of the key ones is the late work. Rocky Mountain did not used to accept late work, and late work is now being accepted for discussions, quizzes, or exams. And the information is there, 100 points, 90, 80, 70, and after Wednesday following when it's due, there would be 0 points. The other one is that telehealth is listed for both your PMH NPC and your DNP FMP courses. So how many hours that you can have in telehealth. All right, now the course. The clinical groups have not been set yet. I was waiting for one more instructor to come on board. I believe it's going to be Dr. Broad, Dr. Chow, myself, and Dr. Krebs, but I haven't gotten word from one of the instructors yet. So the clinical groups will be set soon. So as we begin in week 1, you're going to notice every single week, every week, you need to have your verification of hours. So it's the same verification of hours form, and you are going to upload it every single week in Canvas. So every single week. So do not state in Canvas that you do not have any clinical hours this week. You'll lose the 5 points. Just upload the verification of hours. You'll have hours in week 3. Everybody will have hours in week 3. This is just to keep consistency across the board, certification-wise, that you are showing when you start your clinical hours, when you do not. So every single week, you need to upload your current verification of hours. And may I also add that it is your responsibility, first, to have it signed by your preceptor when you start your clinical hours, but secondly, add up your hours. Don't just put 8, 8, 8, 8, 8, but it should be 8 the first week, 8 16. So make the cumulative column up to date as well. I've also listed a couple of exact instructions in there, but I also wanted to point out that in exact, if you go to under the references and the resource materials, that there is other information that is listed for students, other resources that you can always look up information, a lot of PDFs, so view documents. And I have spoken to exact more than once, and they are very, very willing to speak with you and walk through. I've also used the chat a few times, and actually this chat is pretty expedient in their responses to you. So if you have a question that you haven't found or that you need further clarification, please reach out to Exact. And of course, in Exact is where you're going to put your patient logs. So every patient that you see should have a patient log, and every patient log should have a summary. And it's just a short, quick summary. MS comes to the clinic with a right ear pain that has been going on for 3 days. Mother is given Tylenol and ibuprofen intermittently. Exam shows a right TM that is bulging in red, left TM is clear. Rest of exam is negative. Child is put on amoxicillin 90 mg per kg for 10 days, is advised to return to clinic with any worsening symptoms or no improvement. Simple. Every patient note should have a summary. Every patient log should have a summary. I've also given you 3 templates, a well-child comprehensive template, an episodic or focused template, and the comprehensive template. They're similar, they're very similar. There are just some areas in there that should be added really strongly. If you are doing a episodic or focused, you don't have to do every review of systems, but you should always do cardiovascular and respiratory. And that should always be part of your physical exam as well. A comprehensive well child and comprehensive clinical note is just that. It should be complete and it should be comprehensive. I mean, there's no other way to put it. It should be complete. Okay, so then as you see here is discussion number 1. It's the introductions. I will say to you that if you want to list all of the information for your clinical site, that's fine. If you don't list it all here and you just want to do an introduction, then just list perhaps the type of clinic that you're in. I think that's the good information to know. You know, are you in a family practice clinic? I think for some of us, we like to know where you're at. If you feel uncomfortable with that, then just introduce yourself. Okay, so then the discussions go through each week. I might also say to you that if you look through all the discussions, there may be some that are blank. And the reason is that sometimes I've listed them as hot topics, and sometimes they are listed as clinical pearls, and sometimes they will be related to the didactic information that has been presented. So there may be some upcoming hot topics. I mean, a year ago when we were developing this, the hot topic turned from the one that we had planned, and it changed to COVID. And obviously COVID is still a hot topic, so don't get stressed. They'll be there in plenty of time. Okay, so discussion's done, verification of hours done, exact done. Now let's go into your clinical notes. The clinical notes are not in any of the weeks, so if you go through all the weeks, they're not there. They're only listed in assignments. So they are listed as assignment 1 through 10. The comprehensive clinical note and the comprehensive well child clinical note is listed as assignment number 1 and 2. They do not have to be done as your first clinical note. It's just the way we put them into the system. So you may come back and do your comprehensive clinical note in week 4, or you may come back and do the well child clinical note in week 11, and that is perfectly fine. The idea here is that this is where the assignment is. There are no due dates. Some of you may not start your clinical rotation for several weeks, and you still will have the ability to complete all 10 of your clinical notes. Now, if we go into here, and the instructions are going to tell you very clearly that the 8 problem focused are assignments 3 through 10. Assignment 3 through 6 must be completed during the first half of your clinical hours, and you may only have 2 ungraded notes submitted at a time. In other words, we do not want you to go through and do your episodic focus clinical note 3, 4, 5, and 6, 4 notes in 1 week. We want you to be able to work through your clinical hours, do ones that are of interest to you, ones that you'll learn from because you're going to look them up, be more involved in them, and take some time with them, to be quite honest with you. And then assignments 7 through 10 must be submitted during the second half of your clinical hours. Again, you may only have 2 ungraded notes submitted at a time. And there is a rubric that's attached here. So here is the rubric. So follow the rubric. I will be grading off of all of your clinical faculty will be grading off of the rubric. Now, key and different is that your response satisfactorily to your clinical faculty must be within 48 hours. So that means this is being submitted in Canvas. We will ask you the questions in the Canvas, so you should be getting a response from us. You should have it set up so that you get a response from your clinical faculty when they make a response in Canvas. And then you should go back and look to see if it's graded or not, because then that allows you to submit another clinical note. So 2 clinical notes must be graded before you can submit your next clinical note. Your response must be within 48 hours. Okay, so if we go back to home again, you're not going to find in home a spot to upload your clinical notes. That will only be found in assignments. I hope that this has made it clearer for you with this little Zoom meeting that I have given for you. I hope that you enjoy pediatrics. Like I said in my announcements, I love pediatrics, love pediatrics. I think kids are the best. And I know that's, for some of you, again, you're not doing a strictly pediatric clinic, but I hope that you get an opportunity to do some peds and that you will enjoy this course of study as much as you're able to, considering that you're doctorate nurses in your second clinical rotation. Please reach out as needed. Thank you so much.